Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. In the past few days, an astonishing rumor about Xi Jinping being detained after he went back to China from Central Asia was passed around in the internet. In the meantime, 6 senior anti-Xi CCP officials were given heavy sentences. 3 of them were even sentenced to death. They were once involved in the coup and an assassination attempt on Xi Jinping. Is there any credibility to the rumor about Xi Jinping being under arrest? And what message does the news of 3 high-ranking officials sentenced to death send to us? Today, let's talk about these issues. Yesterday, that was September 22nd. A Chinese language Twitter account called New Highland Vision posted a tweet saying that a shock rumor just came out of Beijing. After Xi left China for his Central Asia visit, CCP seniors held a meeting and agreed to remove Xi from military power. Xi rushed back to Beijing after he learned about the news on September 16th, but was controlled at the airport. He is currently under house arrest inside Zhongnanhai, and the news will be announced at the CCP's 7th plenary session of the 19th Central Committee, the last session before the 20th National Congress. New Highland Vision also retweeted a video as supporting evidence. The video shows a large number of military vehicles moving on the road. The text says the vehicles were heading to Beijing on September 22nd, and the entire procession was as long as 80 kilometers. With the front of the procession at Huailai County near Beijing and the end of it in Zhangjiakou City, Hebei Province. Now let's take a look at this video. Meanwhile, a former columnist of the Chinese language newspaper Apple Daily called Yi Jianpiaochen also tweeted yesterday that his source in Beijing told him that Xi was ousted. Some other Chinese observers also noticed something very unusual. That was, Xi Jinping was absent from an important military meeting on September 21st. According to CCP's mouthpiece CCTV, on September 21st, a senior-level seminar on national defense and military reform was held in Beijing, and Xi Jinping gave important instructions to the seminar and stressed the importance of seriously summarizing and applying the successful experience of reform and striving to create a new situation of reforming and strengthening the military, etc. However, in a nearly 2-minute-long TV report about this seminar, first, for more than 1 minute, there was only a news anchor reading the script about Xi's important instructions. Then, some images from the seminar were displayed showing that Xu Qiliang, a current member of CCP's Politburo and a vice chairman of the CCP's Central Military Commission, and Zhang Youxia, also a current member of the CCP's Politburo and a vice chairman of the CCP's Central Military Commission, giving speeches. But there was no image of Xi Jinping at all, which means Xi Jinping was not in the meeting. This, for many China observers, was very, very strange. As early as in 2014, Xi Jinping gave himself the title of head of the leading group for deepening national defense and military reform of the Central Military Commission. So, as the head of the leading group for deepening national defense and military reform, Xi Jinping had never missed any of the previous meetings of deepening national defense and military reform. Why would he be absent from this one? Even if he had to be put under quarantine after he came back from Central Asia, he could either attend the meeting online or have the meeting postponed to suit his schedule. Why didn't he do this? Another unusual thing people noticed is this. Look at the general at the front row. He's at the second from the second left. His name is Li Qiaoming. People were very surprised to see him in the meeting. Why? Because he was removed as the commander of the Northern War Zone by Xi Jinping as late as about 2 weeks ago on September 8th. If you are following me on Twitter, you may remember that I shared a video on September 8th. I said in that tweet that hours before Xi Jinping was to promote Wang Qiang, commander of PLA's Northern War Zone, to the rank of general. Sounds of gunfire, explosions, and fighter jets could be heard at military airport Yuhong in Shenyang City, Liaoning Province. Yuhong belongs to Northern War Zone. Well, on that day, that's September 8th, Xi Jinping appointed Wang Qiang as the commander of the Northern War Zone and especially held a ceremony in Beijing to promote him to the rank of general. However, the official news said nothing at all about what happened or what would happen to the previous commander of the Northern War Zone, Li Qiaoming. If this was just a normal change of job for such an important PLA general as Li Qiaoming, it is impossible that nothing was mentioned about his future. So people naturally assumed that he was punished. That was why there was no mention of him at all in the official report. Also, videos about sounds of gunfire, explosions, and fighter jets could be heard at Yuhong Airport, a military airport that belongs to the Northern War Zone that had been circulated on the internet. Let's watch a combination of those short clips I put together and shared on September 8th.
偶尔还有飞机。
Well, I didn't talk about the sounds of gunfire explosions and fighter jets before, as I wasn't sure what had happened. Some people said there was a military coup. Some people said those clips of the sounds of gunfire explosions and fighter jets were faked. I didn't know which was the case, so I didn't talk about it. But if Xi Jinping had to replace the commander of one of the 5 war zones in China at such a sensitive time, there must be something terribly wrong within the army that he had to do such an extraordinary thing. Also, if the clips we just saw were faked, the fact that some people took the trouble to fake the clips and spread the rumor about a military coup also shows that there were people in China who wanted to create chaos and trouble for Xi Jinping. The issue here is if Li Qiaoming was removed on September 8th as the commander of the Northern War Zone, why did he reappear at such an important military meeting and even sit in the first row? Was he actually promoted? Yes, there were rumors about him being promoted to the Central Military Commission, about him siding with Chinese Premier Li Keqiang and going against Xi Jinping. And the people who spread these rumors kept saying that Xi will step down and be replaced by Li Keqiang at the 20th National Congress. So, the fact that Li Qiaoming reappeared at such an important meeting gives a little bit more credibility to what those people have been saying. Another very subtle yet very unusual thing about the seminar on national defense and military reform is when the CCTV quote the 2 vice chairmen of the CCP Central Military Commission, Xu Qiliang and Zhang Youxia. Both of them didn't mention Xi Jinping at all in their speeches. This definitely should not happen in normal circumstances. CCP officials and generals will never forget to express their loyalty to Xi Jinping when we make a public speech on such an occasion. Another strange thing that happened on September 21st was nearly 60% of flights across China were canceled. Nearly 9,600 of them were canceled. No explanation or reasons were offered. I tweeted about this yesterday. Some say it is normal to have so many flights canceled during the pandemic lockdowns. Some say it is because of military operations. If a coup had really happened, cancellation of flights would be justified. Another strange thing was that Xi left the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit very abruptly on September 16th. He didn't show up at the summit dinner photo or attend any other activities. He had waited for so long to attend his first important overseas event. So many world leaders gathered there, and it was such a good opportunity for him to show those leaders the way to go. Why didn't he just wait for one more hour? Another unusual thing is the oldest CCP senior, 105-year-old Song Ping, made a rare appearance on September 12th and talked about reform and opening up is the only way for contemporary China to develop and progress. It was commonly understood that this speech directly targets Xi Jinping, who no longer talks about opening up. As the most veteran living CCP elder, Song Ping has not only helped Hu Jintao to get promoted, but once also offered Xi Jinping strong support. So he had done much favor to Xi Jinping before. So if he is now openly opposing Xi, that is not a small deal. However, Song Ping's video speech was about reform and opening up is the only way for contemporary China to develop and progress was soon censored inside China. Today, I have checked Xinhua's reports about Xi Jinping since he returned to China on September 16. It is indeed true that there have been no photos or videos of him whatsoever. All reports about him are text only, which can easily be made up. Well, the above are some signs or facts that support the rumor that Xi's removal from his power. In the meantime, a lot of people don't believe the coup rumor at all, and their main arguments are: 1. CCP elders, including former CCP head Hu Jintao, Premier Wen Jiabao, and Song Ping, have no control over the military whatsoever. All their powers was lost after they retired. All CCP seniors are under the control and monitoring of the CCP's Central Security Bureau, which is in charge of security for the top CCP leaders, such as members of the Standing Committee of the Politburo and the major leaders of the CCP government. This bureau is in Xi Jinping's hands, and there is no possibility for other CCP seniors to organize a coup. 2. If a coup had really happened, the winning party would announce it immediately afterward. They would not cover up the news. It is vitally important for the winning party to announce the news, to stabilize the situation, and to let all party members and the general public know that Xi Jinping has gone, so there were not a counter resistance from people who are still loyal to Xi. 3. In the past few days, as late as today, 3 senior anti-Xi officials were sentenced to death, and 3 others were given long prison sentences. The 3 senior anti-Xi officials who were sentenced to death are Sun Lijun. He is the former Vice Minister of Public Security. He is the head of the so-called Sun Lijun political gang. He was given a suspended death sentence today, that's September 23rd. The court said his crime was taking bribes worth 646 million yuan, or about 91 million US dollars. But everyone knows his real crime was trying to form a political gang that worked against Xi Jinping. As his punishment is a suspended death sentence, it is believed that after 2 years, his sentence will be reduced to life imprisonment. However, it was already ruled that no commutation or parole will be allowed. This means he will be jailed until he dies. Fu Zhenhua, former minister of the Justice Ministry, was also handed a suspended death sentence yesterday. That's September 22nd. He is also a member of Sun Lijun political gang. He admitted accepting bribes exceeding 117 million yuan, that's about 24.9 million US dollars. It was also ruled that no commutation or parole will be allowed for him. So after his sentence is reduced to life in prison 2 years later, he will also remain in prison until he dies. And Wang Xueke, former party secretary of the Political and Legal Committee in Jiangsu Province, was also given a suspended death sentence yesterday, that's September 22nd. Last year, on September 20th, I did a report about an assassination attempt to kill Xi Jinping in Nanjing City when he attended a public event there. Well, Wang Like was also involved in that attempt, and he is also a member of Sun Lijun political gang. So far, 6 out of the 7 members of Sun Lijun political gang were sentenced intensively within 3 days from September 21st to September 23rd. The other 3 officials are Deng Huiling, former vice mayor of Chongqing City and former director of the Public Security Bureau in Chongqing City. He was sentenced to 15 years. He was also involved in the assassination attempt against Xi Jinping. Gong Dao'an, former deputy mayor of Shanghai City and former director of city's Public Security Bureau, was sentenced to life imprisonment. Liu Xingyun, former vice governor of Shanxi Province and former director of the Public Security Department in Shanxi Province, was sentenced to 14 years. These intensive days and non-prison time sentences sent quite a shockwave to China observers. There is one thing quite unusual about this Sun Lijun political gang. In terms of official rank, Sun Lijun was only a vice minister, while Fu Zhenhua was a minister who had a higher rank than Sun Lijun. So why was Fu Zhenhua a member of Sun Lijun political gang? Or why wasn't this gang named Fu Zhenhua political gang? Why wasn't Fu Zhenhua the head of the gang? So there is only one possibility that behind Sun Lijun there was someone higher even than Fu Zhenhua, and Sun Lijun was only the figure on the surface. And who is behind Sun Lijun? It could be Zeng Qinghong, former vice chairman of China, who is a buddy of former CCP head Jiang Zemin and who has always been at odds with Xi Jinping. So the intense death sentences could mean that Xi will probably target Zeng Qinghong before or after the 20th National Congress. So for people who don't believe that Xi has been ousted, these heavy sentences of the anti-Xi officials are also evidence that Xi is still in control, in tight control. So how do we look at these contradicting conclusions, evidence, and facts? Maybe the only safe conclusion now is that things are quite out of order in China and anything is possible. Nothing is no longer normal in China when everything seems to have gone wrong. Also, we have surely entered into a historic stage of great chaos and change, not only in China, but also in the entire world. So what we can do is only to keep our eyes wide open, follow the facts or maybe sometimes rumors closely, and then make the right judgment. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please spread my channel and videos or go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com, sign up for a membership or make a donation to show your support. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. See you next time.